Powered by Riverside FM.
Okay, so we are back with the Browns Backers interview series this week, and we are lucky enough to be able to talk with Robert from the Naples Browns Backers. Robert, thanks for joining us. How are you today?
I'm good, guys. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good. Thanks for taking the time. I know everybody's busy, especially it's Super Bowl week. I'm sure everybody's planning big Super Bowl parties, so we really appreciate it. But before we really get into everything, I understand that your chapter won a major award this year. Can you tell us about it?
We did. We are the Cleveland Browns 2023 Chapter of the Year for all the Browns Backers clubs in the world.
Nice. That's awesome. So what exactly, kind of explain that to us. How does the Backers Chapter of the Year get chosen, and what does it all mean?
There's a President's Leadership Council that's made up of 10 different chapter presidents from around the country, and they all get the applications in. They pick their top 3 that they send on to the Browns, and then the Browns leadership and the Browns backers get together and pick the winner based on community involvement and different charitable things that they do.
Nice. So it actually probably means even more that you're being chosen by your peers. As far
of
as
course.
Other presidents across the Browns backers.
It's very cool.
Yeah. So no, I mean, that's an awesome honor. We feel honored to have you on the show. You know, we get to talk to the Browns Backers Chapter of the Year, and the president of it, and the guy that makes everything run. So that's pretty cool.
Well, thank you.
But why don't you tell us a little bit about your chapter, Robert?
Okay, well, we're the Naples Browns Backers. We're down in Naples, Florida. Locationally, it's directly across from Miami. So if you're looking at a map, we're just an hour and a half west of Miami. And we have 286 active members in our chapter. We average about 100 to 120 a week during the football season.
Wow.
And we meet at Pelican Larry's with Raw Bar and Grill down here in Naples, Florida. And just love watching the Browns. A lot of people retire down to Florida, so just to be able to get together and watch the Browns is basically what we're about.
Nice. And so was it Pelican Larry's, did you say?
Pelican Larry's Raw Bar and Grill.
Nice. Did they have they kind of give you your own room, or do you guys get the entire bar with that many people?
We have half of the bar. It's a private room that they can section off. It's all decorated, Browns and Ohio State, actually. And but the last 3 games of the year, starting with the Thursday night game versus the Jets, and then the Christmas Eve game and the playoff game, basically the bar was pretty much all Browns fans. We had over 300 people each week, and it was pretty crazy.
Those are tremendous numbers.
We should have went down to Naples for the last few weeks of the season.
So, Robert, you mentioned that a lot of people, retire, move to Florida where it's warmer. Are you originally from the Northeast Ohio area, or are you a lifelong Naples resident?
No, I was born and raised in Canton.
Nice.
Lifelong Browns fan. My family still lives in Canton. I did move to Florida 38 years ago when I was 10 years old, but never got rid of the sports bug from Northeast Ohio. So still an Indians fan, if that's still politically correct to say. Still a Browns fan. So
it's a hard bug to shake.
Yes. Somehow it gets it really, bug is actually a good word to use because it just gets in there and burrows in.
Ingrained,
and
no matter where you go afterwards.
Yeah, you're stuck with it. It's like a parasite, but I guess it does just drain you. Huh? No, I mean it's a great time, and that's awesome. That you're still holding on to that after so many years away from the state. It kind of speaks to the type of sports fans that come out of Ohio here. So.
Oh yeah, rabid.
Right. But no, so you're down there in Florida, you're in Naples. Is your chapter involved with any community service or charity work?
Our biggest charity is Avow Kids. Avow Hospice is the hospice center down here. They have a separate kids section, which is who we sponsor every year. We do different fundraisers for them. We have a cornhole tournament every year, a golf outing, everything that we do each week with 50-50s and things like that. During the season, with the money we raise, we buy Christmas presents for all the kids in the program. But just because the kid gets a present, we kind of felt that everybody in the house should get a present. So we make sure that everybody in the household gets a gift so that nobody's left out. We also buy them gift cards so they can cook a meal for Christmas. This year, because the Browns have the Barking Backers, we hosted our first ever Barking Backers on the patio at Pelican Larry's, where members brought their dogs, and nice. We had a photographer and things like that. Humane Society was out. We got some dogs and cats adopted, so we try and do a lot within our community.
Have you signed Kaya up yet?
Yeah, I need to sign mine up.
Cash is signed up. Cash is Barker, Browns Barkers Barker, whatever it's called. Cash is one of them. So you got
my dog Sadie is one also.
Nice.
That's a ton of events and things that you put on there. So I know that as we've gone through and we've talked to backers all over the country all season long, throughout, just kind of followed the Browns around the country and where they were playing. We see organizations that are kind of big and small, and but that's a ton of, sounds like, effort and work. Do you have a board that helps you put on these things, or are you just kind of the man of the hour? You just make everything go?
We do. We have a leadership board. I have 5 gentlemen that help me out tremendously. If I could give them some kudos, John Gardner is my vice president. Nick is my sergeant at arms. Jonas, my treasurer. John Meehan was our former president and the one that actually started the club back in 2010. When he stepped away, he's now our team manager, but still helps me out tremendously with different things. So.
Nice. So you started in 2010. You're already this large. I mean, you're one of, from at least our experience interviewing the Browns backers, you're one of the larger groups out there. So that's pretty impressive.
Well, like I said, we have a lot of people that move down here, and it's a big contingent down here from Ohio. So
you mentioned you guys put on a golf outing every year. Where's that held at?
Usually it's held at Valencia Golf and Country Club, which is our local golf club here. This year we're changing it up just a little bit. We're going to a bigger golf club, the Strand, so that we have more opportunity for more sponsorships. They actually have a clubhouse and just a lot more things we can do so that we can raise even more money than what we have in the past.
Nice. When is that?
It's the second Saturday in August this year. I do not have the date in front of me.
Gotcha.
And besides that, I mean, are there, obviously the off season is basically upon us at this point. Are there any upcoming events this off season that you're hosting or looking forward to besides the golf event?
In March, we always do. We have a ECHL hockey league down here. Just right up the street, so we always do a Browns Backers night with them. This year we have one coming up on March 23rd. This year we're doing a summer golf league. That'll be on Sunday afternoons when we would all be meeting for football. That's going to go from June and July. So, and then we'll have August, which starts preseason, and we used to have a draft party, but as you know, the Browns don't have any first-round draft picks the last few years, so we haven't had a draft party in a few years.
Hit quite as hard. Yeah.
Fair.
So, but when the Browns were always picking
One day.
first or second, our parties were pretty big.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Do you guys do you have like your own merchandise, and is there somewhere that folks can look at and purchase that?
We have it. We don't sell it online or anything like that. It's usually just available during game days. We have T-shirts and things like that we sell, and then of course all the proceeds go to Val Kids.
Nice.
No, and so I mean, you just mentioned the draft, and that's actually kind of a good segue here. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the football side of things for the Cleveland Browns. You know, like I just mentioned, the offseason's about to be upon us. And before we get into future stuff, I mean, what were your thoughts on this past season for the Cleveland Browns and how things ended up for them?
I really couldn't be any prouder of the Browns. I mean, to go through 5 quarterbacks, Chubb going out, you know, second game of the year, and all the different injuries. I mean, we almost had a complete offense and half a defense on injured reserve at any one time. And, you know, so for them to be able to go 11-5 and, you know, pretty much, you know, with 4 weeks left in the season to still be in talk for, you know, AFC North champion. I mean, we haven't had that in a long time. So I couldn't be more prouder of the team and what they were able to accomplish with what they had.
Yeah, it was an awesome thing to watch all season, and pretty remarkable how they just, it didn't matter who went down. It was next man up mentality like I've never seen it before. Not only with the Browns, but with like any team I've ever seen. So
I'm still having trouble just even describing it. Because it's just so rare that we have such a special season, like where it's fun to watch and it seems competitive all year long. But the way they got there was just so remarkable.
Well, and to be fair, anybody that's not a Browns fan that may be watching this probably only saw the Houston game, the playoff game, and they don't realize, like, yeah, I mean, that was tough, and the Browns looked bad in that. We all can agree on that. But at the same time, it just, you don't get the sense of how magical the season was heading into the playoffs and all the things that they overcame if you didn't watch it firsthand. So it was pretty insane.
Yeah, for sure.
But with that, let's go ahead and let's start talking about the future here, because obviously they're going to have to start making some moves. Things are going to need to be addressed. Is there an area in particular that you think that the team is going to have to address, kind of more than all the others?
Well, from listening to Andrew Berry's end of season conference, the Nick Chubb thing worried me when he said, you know, they hope to get him back and things like that. I hope, you know, I would like to see a complete year out of Deshaun. Maybe see him think about maybe doing some sort of restructure so that some other people can be brought back on the team and see what we could have had if everybody would have been healthy this last year. And Njoku's a beast. I mean, to go from, you know, him wanting out of the team 3 years ago when Stefanski first got there, wanting to keep 3 tight ends, to what he's doing now. And, you know, I guess the biggest thing would be, 1, to see Deshaun play a complete year in what he has. And 2, maybe if he'll look at restructuring a little bit so that we can make sure that we lock up Nick Chubb.
What's your confidence level in Deshaun at this point?
I mean, he went 5-1 this year when he was on the field. So, I mean, it was that the Pittsburgh game was tough to watch and tough to digest. But, you know, he showed some promise. I mean, he can still run. He's just got to, you know, go through his progressions, I guess, and, you know, look at the whole field and not keep an eye on one guy. A couple of his interceptions this year, he didn't look anybody off, and it was just, they knew where the ball was going. So,
there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with that in mind, do you think the hiring of Ken Dorsey is going to help him?
I mean, when he was with Buffalo, he did well. I mean, he played with us, as one of the many, 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 many quarterbacks we had. But he, he wasn't in football this last year, I don't think. Was he?
Half the season. Half the season he was with Buffalo. He got fired mid-season.
Well, for 4 years.
Yeah, when Josh Allen was turning the ball over like crazy, which is
I got you.
Ken Dorsey's control. They fired Ken Dorsey. So
quarterbacks can get coaches fired, that's for sure. So, but I mean,
to Kenny's point, he has been with Buffalo for 4 years, and they have been one of the best offenses in the league for those 4 years. And particularly, Josh Allen has been like a top 5 quarterback during that time. So,
right.
I mean, and I believe Ken Dorsey has a couple other quarterbacks kind of under, that he's helped coach to a high level. So I'm wondering if he's going to be able to help Deshaun as well.
I hope so.
But no, I mean, so besides Deshaun playing the full season, possibly restructuring, hopefully getting Nick Chubb secured, do you predict any other big moves this offseason?
Well, I mean, we have so much talent. It's like, what's going to happen with the defensive side of the ball with some of the linebackers, some of the cornerbacks. I know a couple of them are locked up, and, Ward, we've signed his contract. Garrett's coming back. I think Newsome signed an extension. So there's some, people that have their extensions and things like that. And, Schwartz did awesome, and it doesn't look like he's going to be a head coach anywhere. So looks like we're going to have him next season. So, I mean, there's only promise. I mean, the defense did look good, so.
Yeah. Because the only silver lining of the playoff game is it killed his head coaching chances everywhere.
Yeah, fortunate to hold on to him for sure. And it does feel like we have a lot of the right pieces in place. It seems like a lot of the offseason work is going to be administrative for sure.
I mean, the only thing that really shocked me right after the season ended was when they got rid of Stump.
Go ahead.
So.
Yeah, and that whole situation was odd, wasn't it?
Because the same way.
Because that did happen. I get, there's a lot of different ways to look at that. I mean, the running backs behind Chubb didn't really do anything, but is that a personnel problem or is that a Stump problem? I don't really know. And then it was odd just him leaving, saying something about Kareem Hunt, which everybody blew up and made a big deal. We kind of looked at it more as like a tough love type of thing. Like he was like, I really wanted to get, I believe in Kareem Hunt and I wanted to get everything out of him and I just couldn't. And it was like he was disappointed in himself, but also kind of like that last nudge, like, hey, Kareem, I believe in you. Go get it.
I just thought
but it was just odd.
It was odd because
odd.
If Nick Chubb had played all year, we're probably not having this discussion, right?
Right.
Like he's still probably employed by the Cleveland Browns. So
right.
Well, the Browns might still be playing too.
So true. I would. Yeah, I mean, nobody's ever going to know, but I would like to think that we absolutely would still be playing.
Yeah.
Right.
But they did end up with Deuce Staley, so I feel like you can't really. I mean, that's a good coach to replace a running backs coach with. So.
Oh yeah.
But we
the
are
offensive line coach.
We kind of just alluded to it. We are trying to get to the Super Bowl. That's the ultimate goal, and that's the big game that's going on this week. So obviously, 49ers, Chiefs. Neither of these teams we're particularly excited about. But do you have a prediction for this game this weekend?
I do. I actually have it 17-13 San Francisco.
Ooh, San Francisco,
defensive battle.
Yeah.
Are you guys getting together for the Super Bowl this weekend with the Browns Backers group?
We are not. Pelican Larry's does do their own Super Bowl party and has things going on throughout the day. I'm going to go hang out with some family and friends and watch the game.
We're all going to watch it in misery, just wishing we were there.
Bittersweet this time of year.
One day. It's going to be the most glorious day for Browns fans. I can't wait. Everybody's going to be so excited. and it's going to.
The state wouldn't be able to hold the parade.
But now, before we get going, I do want to mention that we are brought to you by who, Kenny?
Seaside Events,
as
the official cruise event provider of the Cleveland Browns and organizer of the Browns Fan Cruise.
And with that in mind, I do want to let everybody know they did run a competition for Browns backers this year. It is over now. The winners were announced. The Browns backers of Pinellas won that. However, we still want to say that we will be emceeing several events aboard the ship, and there will be 16 alumni joining the cruise with us. Fans will get to mingle with them like they're normal people, get autographs, all kinds of fun things will be going on. So for anybody that hasn't booked yet, please do so immediately because it's going to be sold out soon. I think there's only like 6 cabins left or something like that.
We're running out of time. We're about 32 or 33 days away.
Yeah, you probably got like 10 days to get all of your stuff in and signed up for. So make sure you check that out. And then one final thing we'd like to mention before we go is our hot take hotline. Kenny, why don't you tell them about the hot take hotline?
Absolutely. So we set up our hot take hotline to hear from Browns fans all over the country. So whether that's something that you're excited about in the off season, a big move that gets made. We obviously keep it going during the season. If you want to call and talk about games, you're happy, you're mad, you're sad, any of the emotions on the spectrum.
All at once, maybe.
Often you go through those as a Browns fan, but we want to hear from Browns fans, and then we take the best takes and play them on our show and react to them each week. So if you do want to call in, or you're anyone from the Browns Backers group want to call in, that number is 330-227-8080. We'll throw it on the screen here as well for those watching the video version. But again, that number is 330-227-8080. That is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Yeah, and so with that, Robert, is there anything else that you want to say to Cleveland fans that are thinking about joining a Browns Backers chapter?
Go out and do it. One of the things, when I first joined back in 2011, I didn't know a lot of people. I was very introverted, and to finally meet people that had the same passion that I did, it's like a family atmosphere. So if you ever get the chance to look up a Browns Backers bar, do it. We're all over the place. So even if you're traveling during the football season, look up one and go visit with them. Everybody's always welcome at every club. So, they're not going to turn you away.
Yeah, and you mentioned actually earlier that the Browns Backers are worldwide. So when you say if you're traveling to look up a Browns Backers group, it doesn't matter where you're traveling. Look them up. You'd be surprised at where some of these Browns Backers chapters are located.
I think right now there's 300. Sorry about that. I think there's 334 chapters worldwide, 7 different continents. There's one in Iceland. There's Australia. There's South Korea. There's Israel. They're all London. They're all over the place.
Yeah, we went to Ireland last year, and we went from one side of the country to the other side, saw 3 different areas actually, and in every area we stayed, there was a Browns Backers group. So it's pretty phenomenal to see the way that the Cleveland Browns fans they're just everywhere.
Which makes it even more impressive that your group is the Browns Backers group of the entire year, because it is a huge group of fans literally all over the globe. So congrats again.
We are totally honored.
Absolutely. And so, listen, Robert, it has been absolutely amazing having you. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we can get down and meet you guys in person sometime. But once again, congratulations. And you guys enjoy that, because guess what? For the whole next year, you guys are the Browns Backers chapter of the year.
That's right. Undisputed.
Yes, we are.
Send us the details of that golf outing when you get it too. Maybe we can find our way down for that thing.
Totally.
All right. Thanks again, Robert. You have a good one.
You too, guys. Thank you. We are the Naples Browns Backers, and you're listening to the Burning River Sportscast. Go Browns.